All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to the 6th week of the Super Metroid Randomizer Multi-Cat Tournament. So I believe I mentioned this in the outro last week. This 6th week is once again Chozo logic, which again, this is the one logic that just outright puts me at a disadvantage immediately. This also includes boss shuffle and light area though. So those are things that could help me potentially close the gap here, but again, I'm facing apathyduck this week, and I should not be winning this. And again, this is the worst logic for me. So yeah, the setup, the practice for this week did not go good. I can just say that right now. The practice was awful this week. When I went into this match, so I'm very happy with where I'm at in the tournament. I'm gonna have a chance to play myself into the play-in game in week 7, no matter what. But we have to get through week 6 first, so let's go ahead and just get started with the match then.
Hey there, Speed Gaming. It's Super Metroid time again. With the multi-category tournament, Super Metroid Randomizer of the year 2022. This is going to be Aussie on comms, D-Web on tracking, and then with me is Ace Zero, is the other commentator. How you doing, Ace?
I'm doing great, Aussie. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. Always like to see a MST match and a duck match, both following both their paths through the tournament.
Yeah, same. I'm definitely familiar with both runners from a little bit, mostly SMZ3, but obviously both do standalone Super Metroid Randomizer as well. Both doing well in this tournament, up to 4-1. So the winner gets a guaranteed opportunity at the play-in race, if not a clean slide into the brackets if they win the following week as well. Like we are off right on time.
Yeah, we got Team Dark Blue against regular yellow colors. Gotta watch for those sprite changes in the early moments, and then also world color shuffle.
Yeah, I like that it's pretty much just inverted on Shy Guy's side. It's like the green is blue and the blue is green in the background.
Yeah, pretty much. Not too major of color changes. There's some colors that can get pretty hard to play with. But how about you introduce the modes that we're playing today?
Alrighty, yeah, we've got this week's mode is Chozo item locations. It is light area randomizer and boss shuffle. Boss shuffle's the obvious one. It just all the bosses get shuffled or can get shuffled in any of the 4 locations. Chozo means all the items that you need to beat the seed are going to be in Chozo statues, with the exception of that morph ball that's always vanilla. That includes missile packs and power bombs and supers. Like these missiles here are logically required to beat the game. And light area is a little bit more complex, I think, to describe in words, but the portals that take you to different areas are still in the same areas, but they're shuffled as like which one's which. So for example, Criteria always has a branch to Torian, but which connector it is that takes you to Torian is going to be random. Lower Norfair is always going to be attached only to Upper Norfair, but again, it could be any of those. So a little more deduction. Kind of makes I think, more interesting than full area.
Yeah, it's kind of how I feel about it. I kind of describe it as like the map is shuffled, but everyone knows more or less where things are to a much better extent. The duck having a bit of struggle with the ceiling power bombs, but does eventually get it. You do want to have these early power bombs, because I've seen in other races that they can be super buried. And
yeah, that's... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so there's a decision here if you want to check the left area transition, since this is going to lead to one of those randomized map locations. Not everyone checks this in light area, but we're going to get a bit of divergence here with Shy Guy picking up first pack of supers, which are also out of logic.
Yeah, I kind of like the check, especially with the extra E-Tank. Like, I know some people are concerned about taking a hit from these side hoppers on the way back. E-Tank makes that a lot more manageable. But Turian is nice to know, but that's one that I don't think Shy Guy will be missing out on. He's going to be able to deduce that based on the other locations. He might just have to go out of his way a little bit at, say, Red Tower, maybe to check which one leads back to Crateria.
Yeah, most of the time you can deduce what that portal is going to be. But making that check really throws off your power bomb count for 230 and Old MB. So Duck's missing out on the super pack as a result of this. So there's reasons not to make the portal check in light area. In full area, the transition information is a little more valuable.
Yeah, that's a little unfortunate, but at least Duck is going to be able to. I guess he'll logically have super missiles somewhere. So hopefully they're not too out of the way, and usually that's a little bit easier to come by than power bombs. If you're going to like scout the minor locations, so all the non-Chozos, you obviously can still find the ammo that you might need. You can find the E-Tanks you need there, but usually you don't want to check too many of those.
Yeah, I think of it as if there's supers available in a on the path spot like Old Mother Brain, then they're going to be available elsewhere without too much trouble. So we're not going to be without supers for too long. And then they also have the plasma beam, so their damage is pretty good at this point. But you definitely want to be collecting super missiles for your boss kills.
Especially especially this boss shuffle on, you can have an early Ridley somewhere that, if you have 5 or 6 E-Tanks and a reserve, maybe and a Various suit or whatever, either get the health or get the Various suit. You want that ammo available to not have to do an extra trip through either Lower Norfair or even if it's wreck ship or something. You don't want to have to bail on a boss because you just don't have ammo recharge yet.
They have morph bombs, so this gauntlet plays in logic through morph bombs plus the plasma beam. They don't have logical power bombs yet, and we'll see how these gauntlets go for both the runners. Last time saw Duck get stuck under the bomb blocks at the E-Tank, so hope he's cleaned that up this time around.
Yeah, other than that grab there, which is obviously not ideal, I like Shy Guy's mentality of using the bombs first. I personally find the front half a little bit safer, and that way you can maybe take a little bit more time and use your bombs, and in the back, just get rid of those power bombs to get through a little bit faster. Less acid to contend with.
Yeah, using bombs compared to power bombs isn't really that much slow if you plan it right, and then you can still have your power bombs to clear out the multiple barriers at once. And then especially getting through this is part of the floor under the E-Tank. It's probably the hardest part of this whole check.
Yeah, absolutely. Duck's used most of his power bombs, but he saved a couple, I would assume, for that bridge, as you talked about, Aussie, and maybe one for this last bomb as well that Shy Guy just got through. But pretty nicely done. All the way through for Shy Guy, halfway through for Duck. Not too much energy or time lost.
That's our first Chozo E-Tank. That's another thing that we want to keep track of. I find Chozo has a lot of small things to keep track of. Because we know the locations of where items are and can be, and can kind of deduce some item spots.
Yeah, I found personally, at least for me, I think it's more important to track like the E-Tanks and the missiles and super missiles, power bombs on the Chozo statues than the major items. Major items, once you have them, you have them. You don't have to think about like where they were as much as you have to think about where your ammo was and what that unlocks, so you don't do things like check power bomb locked items when you haven't found logical power bombs looking for like a suit or something. It can help inform your decisions. But, all right, we're getting into the actual area checks. We got an early red tower.
Yeah. And Wreck Ship was the other one. That puts Green Brinstar on both of the mode entrances.
Right.
So coming up to the top of Red Tower, smart. Gonna check the Alpha Power Bomb spot, which is a Chozo in this. Spazer is the other Red Tower location that's available to them.
Yeah, I don't necessarily expect either of these runners to do Spazer without maybe a couple more A-tanks or a Various suit. It's pretty risky with this elf. I don't know if it's something that both of them are really solid on, that they nail it first try every time, but that's such a time sink if you're not that confident in it.
Yeah, Duck recently learned the X-ray D-boost. Said it's an easy trick, so see if it goes for it.
All right, well then he has to do it. Put his money where his mouth is.
And on Shy Guy's side, reserve tanks are still a great pickup at this point in the game, but known for skipping those trash tanks.
That first reserve is just so valuable if you're doing anything suitless, just to help manage. When your reserve tank pops, you need to do a crystal flash, get that timing right, or survivability for a Variolous Ridley fight potentially. But I guess you stick with your brand, huh?
Yep, that's how it is. Just gotta play better if you're gonna be making skipping helpful items like that.
Okay, this actually worked out really well for Shy Guy checking the elevator first. I was thinking the opposite would be good, like what Duck's doing, because he was able to get the info on that Meridia portal up the elevator, and then he's gonna go through Green Brinstar here and grab all the items. Duck is not gonna know that that's a Meridia portal. There are 3 of them in Red Tower, but even so, knowing which one it is can be helpful to inform where you go in West Meridia to get to East Meridia.
I think the way this is going to route out, they're both going to exit out back that same portal to Red Tower, since they don't want to go to Criteria after this. So it may truly just turn into an order thing. We don't yet have logical super missiles, so that's something we're keeping an eye on. Get that reserve tank not in logic yet, so another reason to skip it.
Skipping missiles already at only 15. I guess that's what he's probably accustomed to for Fantoon. That's really what you want the missiles for early.
Yeah, missiles, like they're useful all over, for sure.
Hey, there's those supers. So those are in logic, even though they got to them by using supers. So the Spore Spawn is looking like logically required for the fight. There is a second super pack somewhere, though.
Yeah, so maybe you could read this as some kind of slow progression speed, or the other super pack could be available.
Red. Or one of those like variable progression speeds, which doesn't always make a lot of sense. It can have like one item that's kind of trolly and everything else can be relatively quick. But we don't have a suit yet, so it's not looking like a jet seat or anything.
Oh. Playing out kind of standard so far. Just getting to Green Brinstar slightly later because they took that Red Tower path to get here. The reserve area to stock up on miners and another E-tank. So that's 2 E-tanks and a reserve in logic.
Okay, so that puts the ice beam in logic. Is that correct?
Yeah. I imagine it'd be most of Upper Norfair, except for Speed and Barrier. Well, it does depend on where the transition is. There's gonna be one transition to Upper Norfair from Red Tower, and we need to know where that comes out. And then also I think it works where once you find 3 Chozo tanks, then the randomly placed E-tanks are also in logic.
Yeah, that's kind of a good way to think of it. I've read some explanations and it makes sense, but I don't understand it well enough to explain it.
Chat making a good point. MST hasn't checked the blue Brinstar portal, so it doesn't know where the Torian is. So he's actually gaining information from this. Duck is just using this as a shortcut back to the middle of Green Brinstar.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. He's gonna do the HPJ over here.
But this gets him closer to the top of Red Tower. When actually running left across criteria, will get him to the middle of Red Tower. And that might seem better, but he hasn't checked the top of the Red Tower elevator.
Right, so he doesn't know. Honestly, I don't expect him to go up and check that. Well, oh yeah, he's gonna come out the same way. Never mind. Yeah, okay. He'll check that on the way down, but it'd be one he could deduce from all the other entrances, and with high jump boots, there's not really a concern with breaking the 2. But he did get that HPJ nice and quick, so it was worth it to go for this, I think. You can actually see how much time he saved over Shy Guy with that quick HPJ over backtracking through Brinstar.
Yep, for sure. And we're also getting a save, and he's going down and not up the elevator. This looks like an X-ray play.
He does have 3 tanks in a reserve now, so he can afford to make some mistakes as long as he backs it up with the bomb jump quickly at the end. Like, as long as he gets to that last D-boost before any kind of issues arise, he's got plenty of time to get that bomb jump up. So I think this is a reasonable play now.
It looks like Shy Guy is also doing the same thing, taking the same save. So it's gonna come down to who can pull off the trick first. If you miss it in the first half, then you can just reset the room and just have to eat the time loss. If you miss the final deboost, then you're stuck on the spikes and have to make your way up without dying. So there's Duck in a bit of danger. Don't panic, Duck. You got this.
Yeah, fortunately, he caught it right away. He might be able to beat out the waiver here. Oh, man,
So that failed because he was facing the wrong way, and when he turned around, he didn't move as he thought he would.
I gotta give Duck a hard time about that. I mentioned this to him the other day. I was like, why do you do this facing right? Just do it facing left. It's like safer that way. I said, I just don't mess up when I face right. I just don't have that problem. But look at that. Now he's behind by 1 item pickup because he failed. Yeah, that's a really niche mechanic. Like the way your inputs move you out of a bomb jump, whether you're facing right or left. Sometimes it can propel you the wrong direction, or you like tap a direction and it doesn't really move you at all.
Yeah, very important to that HPJ over the moat that we saw earlier. with this, Shy Guy is now a little bit ahead, plus has the information advantage with the Red Tower elevator. I'd expect both of them to go down from here, since there's more entrances and the spacer check.
Sure. Yeah, that grapple beam is a nice find. It's really good for potentially getting out of Dragon, which could pop up, of course, with Boss Shuffle anywhere. So that makes Kraid's Lair a lot more valuable to check early.
Yeah, at this point we're still looking at ways to kill all the bosses and get out. So the grapple kind of checks off Dragon. So the only unkillable boss they could run into is still Ridley.
I think for most players in the tournament, another E-Tank and obviously the 30 supers or like full beam combo would be a requirement. I've been told 3 E-Tanks in a reserve is possible, but probably not a great idea to go for most players in a race.
That's the amount I have in my clip. Can't make any mistakes at all. So even having bare minimum, it's not a safe thing to do in a race.
I think missing both suits, I like the croc play here. Saves the potential trip up an elevator. There could be a lot of backtracking through LN, or through Upper Norfair, sorry, without speed or even a way through speedless speedway. I like this play from Shy Guy.
So I think I like the croc play here too, because you're gonna get the item value for all of Upper Norfair, and if it's varied, then that's just huge. But
Yeah, even
on
if it's
Duck's
gravity,
side, yeah, on Duck's side, where it's right next to the entrance, then you can also put off the decision until you're leaving, like whether you want to go back for croc.
That's a good point. A bit of an unusual minor check, I think. But Shy Guy probably still thinking about that Ridley ammo. Maybe another E-Tank or two. Or even an E-Tank for the Hell Runs would be really nice. So I kind of like that item check, even though that's not one that you necessarily see all the time in Chozo.
It's pretty fast, and then finding supers pays off. It's like supers, power bombs, E-Tanks would all be good in this situation.
Oh yeah, Powerbomb would give him another Crystal Flash. But he skipped the one... Was that behind Croc? Is that a Powerbomb? There was one recently he skipped that I already spaced up which one it was.
The speed boost, that's really helpful for right now, because now it doesn't have to take the Cathedral Hell Run.
Yeah, that's really big. It's going to save a lot of farming, and even just getting like in and out of speed is going to be way faster. That's going to be really big for Shy Guy here. And out of Ice Beam as well.
It's like over the course of the seed, it's going to pay for itself. But then right now, it's also going to save a whole lot of time. Like even if Duck decides to come here after the Upper Norfair checks, then Shy Guy's already gotten value off of it. But looks like Duck just wanted to check the high jump Ice Beam area, and he's going to come back for Croc now. So this is going to work out. Just a little bit of route inefficiency from taking the elevator. And we should mention Croc is logically locked by Charge Beam, which neither runner has.
It's a good point. So our Charge Beam is probably somewhere in Upper Norfair, or I guess Wreck Ship, potentially, or whatever boss is there. That would make a lot of sense. Like, say, Kraid at Wreck Ship with Charge Beam to get here to do the Hell Runs. We haven't found third E-Tank yet. Or we did find the third E-Tank. It's right there. Shy Guy's picking it up. I just missed it on Duck's side.
All right. So that's all the Chozo tanks. And that would put all the hell runs in logic. And then Wreck Ship, it really gets like put off until really late in these boss shuffle seeds. So we can never really tell what's going to be there. And we have something good, but don't usually find out until super late. A small bit of efficiency that Duck gets back is gonna have a nice health refill leaving this croc area, where the Shy Guy is gonna be down the like 2 E-tanks it takes to get Dyson back. That's pretty minor. And that's our second super pack. So we found all the health tanks and we found all the ammo. In Chozo, there's 2 missile packs, 2 super packs, a power bomb pack, 3 E-tanks and a reserve, and we've seen all of those already. So from here on, it's going to be just the good items.
Good items like Spazer and Spring Ball, right?
Yeah. Like they already have those other items that people might consider good with high jump and speed and plasma. Still looking out for suits. Or did we not see Chozo peeps?
I'm forgetting now if we did. I don't think we have seen them.
Sure they'll turn up soon then.
I don't think we've gotten anything logically locked behind them either, so.
Yeah, and bombs were early.
Yeah.
So Bubble Mountain, we have the Speed Booster and the Wave Beam Chozo items. And we're also going to be looking for the Kraid's Lair area transition, since they don't really want to do Lower Norfair at this point in time.
Oh, a lot of supers. Might not be seeing charge this seed if this keeps up. Especially with the late suits, but if the suits pop earlier, they'll probably have a lot of ammo by that point in time. Except for there's charge, so never mind.
Yeah, there you go. When the seed gives you ammo, it also gives you charge beam. That's just how it works. Yeah, Runner's just sitting on 4 E-tanks and a reserve in Duck's case. But super skilled runners here that we're watching. It's a 4-1 race, so both of them good odds to get through to playoffs. Just can't take 2 losses and step through the play-in race. So, not expecting to have any problems with these hell runs.
Yeah, with the extra check for this area transition, there's a decent chance they might have to Crystal Flash. Especially for Shy Guy without that reserve tank. If he goes to wave, doesn't get an E-tank, and then goes to the area transition. And of course, another skip reserve. That one doesn't really help him very much, because you want the refill, really.
Yeah, true that. Only reserves would refill your health. Or at least come full.
Wouldn't that be nice? So the gravity suit there is interesting. I really was expecting Varia, but I guess if this is a slow progression seed, it's going to push you all around the map to find things to go back here later. Okay, opting to refill health instead of the Crystal Flash before checking that transition, looks like for Shy Guy. Or just leaving Upper Norfair, potentially?
Yeah, we'll see what he intends to do. Could be going down to Nutella refill from here.
Actually, yeah, that's not a bad idea, because he can check both those area transitions and very likely just figure out, if he's paying attention, he'll be able to figure out what is at that single chamber exit. And it could work out for him depending on which area is where. Looks like Duck is doing the same thing.
It's like Crystal Flash is a good way to get your health back, but then you also have to get your ammo back, and that part can be slow.
It can, but where they're going to need ammo anytime soon, because these runners probably aren't looking. They're not looking at LN hell runs right now. They'd be looking at potentially like a ammo for a Ridley fight, say at Crate's Lair, and you can farm the supers back up on the mini crate really quick. So, based on just that alone, I guess I wouldn't be concerned about the ammo situation. But I mean, this is two entrances pretty close together. They can. I guess Shy Guy's. Oh, he's saving first. Okay, like he's gonna go through the spiky acid snake tunnel here to check the other entrance. Take the free health refill. Use that grapple beam. That's the advantage of going this way with their loadout. That room becomes really easy.
Yep, so we found back of Lore Norfair. Gonna want that for later. The thing I'm looking at right now is Duck having the 2 reserves and more than 30 supers. Maybe could go for that really risky Ridley fight. But Shy Guy probably can't with his health.
Yeah, that reserve is basically worth 2+ tanks. It's just so valuable in case you get grabbed. If you get grabbed with the reserve full, it won't pop and drain your health until after the Ridley explosion animation, so it ends up being really, really helpful. You do have Crate's Lair here, which means the other Lower Norfair entrance is the single chamber. And that's the one we probably won't worry about. A lot of times the lava dive side is not as valuable in light area rando.
Yeah, especially with what they have right now, they're only looking for Varia suit. They have gravity, speed, and charge with a good beam. So it's only Varia that they want to see.
Yeah, true. I guess the other reason to go that way would be to check GT on your way to the boss, but that's certainly not going to be Varia. That's a good point.
Just get a crate fight. You're at crate. Already down for Shy Guy. Duck gonna prepare for a Ridley. Looks like. Actually gonna lose a bit of time doing it. Wave Beam's really nice. Like on top of Plasma, you kill things so much faster.
Yeah, it's huge damage output, and especially with Plasma, makes the hitbox on the beam much, much better. Just Plasma alone sometimes can be a little awkward to hit things with that really thin beam. This is a lot of sync. We've seen these guys basically do the same things for the whole race so far, just very slight differences in some of the micro routing decisions, some of the ammo pickups. Still a very close race.
Yep. They're doing mostly the same things. But Duck just a little bit behind.
I imagine we'll see It seems like we'll see the same play at this point too. Shy Guy's gonna be leaving back to Red Tower and then taking that gravity suit into Meridia. I would imagine Redshift's pretty far away. It's just awkward to have to leave Lower Norfair and then come back. I guess could go through Red Tower to Crateria and then all the way through Redshift to Meridia that way, but I'm not sure if there's a way to make that faster based on these areas where the portals are.
It seems like you go East Meridia here if you're trying to follow the items that you've been given. You get to Dragon Boss and Shack Tool. But I'm not sure how much they ever want to check Shack Tool in this. Plasma Beam is going to depend on where Dragon is, as well as the value of a Redshift play on Pantone.
Nice sometimes to see one vanilla boss, because then you know, like, if you see a second one, then you figured out all 4 bosses. Since all 4 cannot be vanilla, there has to be at least 1 change, which means at least 2 changes.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to get more information than that unless you've seen like 3 of the other bosses.
That was a very quick find. I don't know if Shy Guy had seen all 4 of the East Meridia, or sorry, all the West Meridia portals at this point. I think he'd only seen 3 of them, but hit the one he wanted. Duck is going to be right behind, doing the same thing, probably.
West Meridia itself not having any major items, so just run right through that.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame. It's maybe my least favorite thing about Chozo is that West Meridia is just a way to get from one area, like, it's just a little hallway, basically, between Red Tower and East Meridia.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a gear check that you have like enough suitless items if you're going for suitless. And I think that gravity jump up to the top middle door with no other items is also something not expected. But here they are in East Meridia, about to fight the Dragon Boss location for another item and more boss information. Boss shuffle is on, we promise. Even though Kraid was vanilla.
It's a nice, smart save from Shy Guy. Duck, maybe not quite sure what he wanted to do here. I'm not sure if he was thinking about checking Shack Tool first. I don't really see a reason for him to do that necessarily. He should be fine for a Ridley fight if that were the case, which clearly it's Phantoon here that you're seeing on Shy Guy's side.
So Phantoon here mostly opens up the wreck ship. Can't do a whole lot more in East Meridian. Don't even get the boss item from any of the other bosses.
Phantoon, I would imagine we won't see a Shack Tool from the runners unless one of them feels behind or that's a play the other one won't make.
It's kind of the way of it.
Because if they go to wreck ship and there's nothing there, they can grab a Shack Tool on the way back through Meridia to Norfair. It's like a worst case scenario.
Another thing I was looking at was Duck's health and ammo in terms of skipping Varia for Lower Norfair. But finding Phantoon here just ups the odds of Ridley in Lower Norfair, making it even harder. But if it wasn't Ridley there, then it'd just be like maybe 2 E-tanks away from just skipping Varia entirely.
Yeah, I mean, you could do a lot of crystal flashes. And since you can come in through the back door, you can get a couple power bombs on the way through and fire fleas if you need to potentially earn yourself another crystal flash. I keep forgetting the door is locked still, because Dragon is still alive somewhere. Has to go around the long way to wreck ship, unfortunately.
Yeah, and how long it is going this path. But we do know that it connects directly to wreck ship, so it makes the most sense to go this way. Wreck ship always going to be connected to Criteria on one side, East Meridian on the other.
Yeah, and at least it'll be the good side of wreck ship too.
Maybe this will tempt one of them to check Shack Tool. ShyGuy not going for it, just gonna go straight to wreck ship. And again, the plasma beam room door is not open, so can't make this check here. That double yapping maw room. See a lot of runners fall into the middle, bump the bugs, get partially stuck in the sand. And in that position is where you panic, because getting grabbed can lose a good bit of time.
Looks like Duck making the same error trying to open that door with Dragon still alive somewhere. It's so easy to do. Just your muscle memory is that's how you go to the Forgotten Highway side of wreck ship. That's how you get there. But not in this case.
I haven't really found more E-tanks since it was last brought up. It's still on 4E and 2 reserve.
Yeah, I missed what was in the right item on the right sand pit. I saw the super on the left side, but that would have potentially been worth looking at in case it's an E-tank, I thought, for ShyGuy. Maybe he saw it and I just missed it, or maybe Duck will peek it and we'll get an idea what that is.
Well, I guess there's a question now of if you clear out wreck ship or if you go to the boss first. Because it could just be Dragon's there and has a Varia suit. But if you're scared of Ridley, then you'd want to get more items first.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought the other side of wreck ship was the side they were going to be entering. I was mistaken on that, but this being on path clearly is a good check to do first, and it's the Varia suit, so that worked out really well for ShyGuy. Unfortunately, Duck is going the Shack Tool route. And I can see the thinking here. You know, wreck ship is 3 items, but you go all the way to check all 3, go to gravity missiles, and you still need your Varia suit. That's so much time lost.
From our perspective, Duck checking Shack Tool is pretty good for him. It's just not going to work out because we know that he's just following behind ShyGuy. So it has to do something that's different and is doing that thing, but Varia was just in wreck ship.
Oh, did Duck save somewhere? Did he save the Coliseum? Looked like he was thinking about resetting or not picking up that ice beam for some reason. But that's probably the best thing with what was left that could be here for Duck. Helps out with the Metroids a lot. Makes Zeb skip easier for most runners anyway.
Yeah, generally nice to have the Ice Beam, but that check tool check just takes so long that you're not really going to make back your time.
Yeah, especially with all the other beams that they have. If if they didn't have Plasma and Wave and it was just charge alone, the extra damage and utility ends up being a lot better.
It's pretty much the best item that could have been there that wasn't area.
I guess Screw Attack is still useful too. We haven't done Lower Norfair yet, so that's a good pickup behind Dragon.
Yeah, true. That's with Shy Guy having the lower health count.
Yeah, Duck is backtracking here through West Meridia, which suggests he's not going to go to Wreck Ship and just say Barry is too far away. I don't need it. Don't really like his help for this, but it should be doable with the couple crystal flashes that he has ammo for.
Well, we do know now that it's gonna be a Ridley there, so that's really bad for this line of play.
I think I'll try. I mean, even if he crystal flashes, even if he has to use 2 crystal flashes to get to Ridley, he can finish the fight and then do another one on the way out. Yeah, that'd be. I think he needs just a little bit more, 1 or 2 more E-tanks, or honestly, even another power bomb pack would potentially be helpful. An E-tank somewhere in LN would make it definitely doable, but you can't count on that. I guess he's going the other way into Wreck Ship.
Oh, maybe this is actually smart. Because this is the front entrance to Wreck Ship. And it was already at the front entrance of East Meridia.
Yeah, that's true.
Unfortunately, not going to be passing by the E-tank. So it's a little more out of the way to check for Varia.
Yeah, if it was at, say, the right supers item, this might be a time save.
Yeah, this looks like some heads-up routing here. It's not going to work out. Now, Shy Guy is going to visit the front of Lower Norfair, by the looks of it. But for what reason?
I'm not sure. The back of Lower Norfair was the Croc entrance, right?
Right.
It could just be, muscle memory or forgetting which entrance was where, depending on what, if any, trackers these players use. That can be really difficult sometimes.
Yeah, because that is a feature of the settings. The map is randomized, and the runners have to deal with it. So there's room for mistakes. The Duck is going to find the Varia suit here before entering the Dragon fight. But it's now behind most of the whole run down to Lower Norfair.
Pretty sizable lead. It looks like that Shy Guy has here, with the exception of ammo and that ice beam and the space jump. Those all help Duck out, but it's not likely to be enough to make up the deficit. by itself.
Yeah, kind of the thing to look at is Shy Guy's health. Is one way that could be losing time.
Yeah, that's a good point. Having to play it safe or farm up health. Definitely be a time loss.
It's pretty covered in all the other areas.
Yeah, we'll see if Duck gets the screw attack here too. I mean, since we know it's there, that should be worth it to go through Lower Norfair, but Duck might just think, yeah, it could be Spaze or it could be Spring Ball. I don't care about checking this item. Actually turning off beams for the rain dance. Nice. Like a good amount of damage too.
See a clean any percent kill.
Nice.
I guess
Yeah, he
the
connected all the
backup-
particles, I think, so that's I think for me at least that's the hardest part of that opener is getting not only getting the Shine Spark with the extra lag on there, getting the short charge, but landing all the particles in the right spot. Very nicely done. And there goes the blue suit, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Spike suit. I wonder where he was planning on using that.
I don't know. He's just showing off the full any percent fight. Did a good job of it. But that's a door where you usually angle up to shoot at, and that input is gonna activate the spike suit.
Quick Ridley fight with all those supers from Shy Guy. He's still looking for potentially Ice Beam. So I think it does make even more sense for him to check these behind the boss items. Does not want the Spazer. With Plasma already in hand.
Yeah, we saw Duck skip the screw attack that was at Dragon. Doesn't need any more of the Chozo items from here. With Plasma, screw attack doesn't even save that much time.
Yeah, it doesn't like optimally save a ton of time, but it makes everything so much easier. Like, just screw attack to kill the key hunters to reduce lag instead of trying to hitbox through them. Like, it makes the margin for error a lot smaller. So in a race,
You really feel the screw attack time save when you're trying to do Lore Norfair with that Varia. Particularly with the Holtz down at the farm, the pre-Ridley farm.
Just because you can't run through the acid?
Yeah, so you gotta work around the Holtz. And killing them with Plasma, even full beam is pretty slow. We're gonna get a high five in the Three Musketeers room. There it is, ball 5. Duck entering Lore Norfair right as Shy Guy's leaving.
Shy Guy does know where Turian is, right? I think he's seen every other entrance. So by process of elimination, he knows which one he needs at this point.
That's right. Take the time to go up through Green Brinstar elevator, and that was last entrance, other than Torian. So should have a full map built up. Can go directly to the end of the seed. ducks, Lord Orphear. Like with the high jump and speed booster, you can rely on your any percent strats to get through. You really feel how much they help. Like once you're in this kind of situation with about 1 E-tank and need to get through taking minimal damage. Shy Guy's looking for the middle of Red Tower to get to Criteria. And then it would be Blue Star for Tori.
Yep, and it'll be nice that you won't have to worry about refilling ammo. We won't have to worry about super drops from the Metroid, since this is still area, so it still gives you the energy and ammo refill at the Turian elevator. Sometimes there's a decision, of course, to make a detour to the ship to refill or not.
That'll be the 4th boss, 4 Duck. Yeah, tied on bosses. Just not tied on closeness to Torian. And we're gonna see Shy Guy is going to have to power bomb all the Metroids. And then later on has the option of speed Zeb skip or the Zeb skip, since they do have enough ammo for that.
Too bad we won't get to see a down back Zeb skip. I know that's something that Shy Guy likes to say is free.
Yeah, I know. It's not free. I don't know why he says it.
I think a lot of people make it out to be a bit harder than it is, but it definitely isn't free.
On 36 health, but should have 2 full reserves, so not really worried about dying. And the Metroids, if you have all of them on you, there is some risk of dying. The damage is pretty fast. But it's more something to be aware of than something to worry about.
Yeah, especially with screw attack, you can just spin jump, and while you're doing spin jumps and the screw attack animation is active, you won't be draining any health. So, as long as you keep that in mind, there's not really a big risk.
I find that's one of the advantages of the power bomb or Rinka spawner as a way to group them all. If you do it that way, then you're not going to feel the health drain. Whereas taking this bit of damage now, Shy Guy's going to have to refill after the baby Metroid. They do have high jump speed and wave plasma, so expecting to see 2 successful Metroid skips.
That's another not exactly free strat. But these runners are both good and I think would be expected to get it more often than not.
Yeah, not just that, but they know that their opponent is good, so would really like to have this time save. See, going for the lag version, shooting at the dust enemies, creates a bunch of lag and lets you control your jumps a little better. as long as you're used to it.
Didn't quite get the final, or I guess the penultimate jump there. Unfortunate, but he did have to refill anyway, so it's less of a time loss based on that consideration.
Yeah, plus he was already damaged down a little bit. Leading to why he needed to refill. Losing seconds here in the not having space jump in the I ring. What can you do?
Potentially missed some timing or knew he was off on that short charge. It looked like ShyGuy was going for the speed zeb skip, but I like the play to go for it if he did in fact go for it, and also bail and just use ammo when it went wrong. With this much ammo and this beam combo, it's not really worth the time to go back and forth to reload the room. Keep trying it.
Yeah, if you get it, it does save a little bit of time. Being faster than killing Zebs, plus supers are more damage than his beam. But it doesn't save enough time to go back and forth.
Yeah, this is 24 shots, is that correct, with the beam combo?
Right. Saving 15 supers for the end. I kind of feel like 15 isn't the right number to save. It's when the catch-up phase starts, but you're going to be getting some extra shots in before you react to that. So I think I'd like to see runners save maybe 13.
Saved 15 and used one of them. But it gets the job done. I can see some sync babies on screen.
As we don't see some syncs babies on Samus.
Yeah, it's not ideal. Very nice skip from Duck. Yeah, definitely Duck caught up a good amount of time. The Ice Beam, Space Jump, like he did have some extra utility here for Dorian, extra health even. Help save some time, but it's like it's not going to be enough.
Be all the way into the fight before ShyGuy's out of it. But like you said, it's just not enough. And is able to do these faster Metroid rooms and whatnot because of that Shack Tool play. That itself was a time sink. With Rain 2, like if ShyGuy had taken a bad catch up, it was kind of the last place where the race could have flipped. So ShyGuy looks to be in the clear from here. Your escape rooms can only be so bad. You shouldn't have a problem making it out. You still want to see them done well, like that nice door fix. The screw attack is still on, so he gets to take advantage of screw attack and Leodoc's ring. Just run right through the enemies. Still a lot of minor ways to optimize your escapes. they've played enough Super Metroid by now that they've taken the time to do that.
Yeah, then Moonfall's a good one too. That's one of the most. Is that the most efficient Moonfall? Or I guess the second most. The climb would be.
Yeah, the climb
bigger
has to
mistake.
It's
That's
deceptively difficult, Moonfall. You're running right at it and have to turn around in a good place to hit that Moonfall.
I've tried Moonfall. It's not worth it anywhere else, in my opinion. But nice escape, Shy Guy. Nice run, GG's on the first place finish.
That's the official time of 1:03:20. So GG's to MSD. Duck already at the end of the Mother Brain fight. Just gonna finish it up from here. This was a 4-1 match. So Shy Guy gets to advance to a score of 5-1. Duck gonna drop to 4-2, which is kind of the danger point. Take more than 2 losses and you don't get to join the play-in race to advance to playoffs. Where the top 16 runners are going to continue on with the tournament.
Looks like we're joined here by Shy Guy. GG's.
Thank you. I am very surprised by the outcome of this race. Generally, I know that there's the light and boss stuff mixed in, but generally with Chozo, they're straightforward. And in a straightforward seed, I just lose to 90% of the people in the tournament. So the seed kind of played in my favor with where Varia was. And I guess I took a risk that I didn't know was actually a risk because I skipped Shack Tool thinking it wasn't in Logic yet, when if I was actually using my brain, I would have realized it was in Logic. And if I had known that, I probably would have checked it.
We have Duck finishing the 105.33 and also joining us. So GG to Duck.
GG's. What's up?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say GG's, and again, that's interesting you mentioned that, Shy Guy, because you said the race wasn't straightforward, and that issue with Shack Tool. You guys were pretty synced up on almost everything up to that point, except Duck was just like barely behind, kind of the entire time, like a room behind everywhere, and then check Shack Tool. So Shy Guy, you found that Varia suit a lot earlier. Was really the biggest bulk of the difference in the time at the end.
Yeah, I don't know what's correct there, because if you don't check Shack Tool, then you're committing to full clearing wreck ship with bowling alley and everything, which is just worse. Plus the other 2 locations. So like if it's there, you can skip a lot of wreck ship. If it's not, then and I was gonna reset it, but ice is good enough to keep and just loop around like I did.
Yeah. Besides Varia, ice would be the only other thing you would keep out of that. Yeah, no, I was not thinking. So, Grapple was at X-ray, and for whatever reason, it did not connect in my head that, oh, we have bombs, we have energy, we have high jump and speed. That is a logical check. For whatever reason, my brain is like, oh, X-ray was, or Grapple was at X-ray. I don't need to check Shack Tool. It definitely can't be there. So, that was a stupid mistake on my part that just happened to pay off.
I guess technically your power bombs weren't in Logic yet for Shack Tool, so there was that.
Oh, right. I wasn't even thinking about that.
Power bombs apparently, for the credits, were at Plasma Beam, so you would have had to beat Dragon to go to Plasma to get your power bombs to do Shack, logically.
How is that even possible?
w-
I mean, you can get pretty much everywhere in the area rando.
it would
Yeah,
want
I
you to
guess
go
gravity
else,
was.
except for like
a
LN.
very backwards way back through Criteria to Wreck Ship and then back into Meridia that way.
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
Interesting. But yeah, you guys both played really well. It was almost a little disappointing there wasn't more divergence, but like it really was close. And there were of course a lot of like, minor differences. Like Ducky went down the elevator at Upper Norfair first instead of going into Croc right away. That could have been a big difference, but then you went and did Croc anyway. So Shy Guy was just slightly ahead with
Yeah, I
that
mean,
check the speed, but it really didn't change much.
Varia loves being at high jump, and the problem with Croc there, like if Varia is at Croc, then like I would be going all the way to like the other locations and then coming back. Especially I didn't have speed at that time, obviously. So like you kind of had to do it there because if Varia is there, then like you can't just be like, oh, I'll check it on the way out.
Right.
Because then like you've just abandoned the lower Norfair checks. So
Yep.
I was trying to avoid it, but it's such a bad check. So I had the 2 other checks to do. Even if speed was at ice, I probably still would have put off Croc till the end. But yeah, I mean the elevator's annoying, but probably putting it off is the right thing.
I went ahead and did Croc as soon as I got in there, because that's the first transition in there. I went ahead and did Croc because if I had found the suit there, then I knew I'd just complete Lower Norfair, whatever else down there. Like I'd be set then. That's why I went ahead and completed it when I first entered Norfair.
Yeah, I mean it's not like it's close either way. Honestly, it's like a kind of a coin flip decision, but. And I think the way I went, going front door on Meridia was faster than going through both, because I already knew front of Wreck Ship was Criteria, and I had a pretty easy path to get there. So I think that was faster than going all the way through both Forgotten Highways.
Yeah,
but I'm not
Certainly
sure.
looked like a good route.
It seemed like it was, if the Varia had been like right supers instead of the Wreck Ship E-Tank, that would have worked out better, because then you still had to go to the E-Tank anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
But
the problem is I had low health.
You don't know what that is, what it's going to be.
I had low health coming in, so I couldn't just be on the boss and just go like, I'll kill a 4+1 Ridley. I had low health and I didn't quite have 30 super, so even when I got that last E-Tank, and it was like, if Ari's here, it's either here or I have to loop all the way around anyway, so it's not a big deal waiting for it, because it was a 50-50 chance to be Ridley at that point.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that was a minor point of divergence. The other one that was kind of interesting, I thought, was how you guys got back from your Green Bryn trip. So MST, you just doubled back and went back through Brinstar, and Duck, you did the HBJ across the moat, which was nicely done. Ended up saving just a little bit of time there.
Excuse me, I failed the HBJ terribly, and then
You got it second try.
I know, I continuous wall jump.
Or you CW? No, you did CWJ. That's right.
Yeah, because I turned off high jump because I was planning on doing X-ray anyways. But then, of course, I forgot to turn off plasma, so I had to pause again. So whatever. But there was a plan there. I was like, oh, I'll just take off high jump here, and then I need it off anyways. So perfect.
Yeah, and with your knowledge of knowing that Torian was the Blue Burn entrance, obviously that made sense because MST, you hadn't scouted that.
I hadn't scouted that.
Yeah, I mean, when I did that Brinstar loop around, I didn't know either of those 2 other ones. I just knew the 3, right? So I knew both of the greens had to be over there. So I didn't know which way I was going. And I was hoping it was going to be the other way, so I didn't have to faff about with the moat, but I did, because of course.
CWJ always superior to HBJ. I hate the horizontal bump jumping.
Yeah. Also in this scene, we were looking to see if those reserve tanks would ever become useful.
Nope, they're never useful.
Nope.
They're never useful.
I popped them once, I think. Yeah, because I finished the hell runs, I need a little bit more health to get down to the farm. And I wasn't entirely sure how much was in my tanks at that point, so I wanted to double check to make sure I wasn't going to pop them and die on the way down to the farm down there. So minorly useful.
I think like little noticeable points, like with the reserves, we're looking for where Ridley's going to show up. So Duck did take the time to fill the reserves at mini crate, but that ended up just being a bit of a time loss.
Yeah, I considered not even worrying about it if it was, because at that point all I needed was Varia, right? So like if Ridley was there, I could have just died and I had to save in what you call it, Bubble Mountain. So I considered just not even worrying about it and just going for it. But then I've had to come back later, so I don't know. It's one of those decisions that it always kind of feels bad, especially when you're doing hell runs and then you're on a pretty tight potential Ridley fight. Like,
Yeah, I was a little bit worried about, because I wanted to get the Kraid boss done, because again, that could be variant. I could just clear Norfair then. So I, after I found the back door to Lower Norfair, I doubled back on myself to save at the Croc save, right above that transition. And thankfully Kraid was the next one, but I felt that particular save is very useful in area rando sometimes, and maybe more so in light, but because that would have actually put me really close back to where I needed to go anyway. Because I would have had to left Norfair at that point, because that was my last check.
Right, that would have been smart.
I don't normally think about saves like that very much, but I did it this time. I used my brain, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah, don't get to see like too many big resets like that in this week's settings. But you always hear about it in full area randomizer.
Yeah.
But with that, we have Duck now on 4 and 2, with 1 week to go. You're in the hot seat.
yeah,
you
thank
gonna
God
make
I
it
won
through?
4 in a row.
How do you feel about random start and countdown?
You mean the yes settings? Just all switches
of them.
turn up. It's gonna be random. I'll give it that. I mean, who knows? Like, it could be anything. It could be a nightmare seed. I could start at landing site again, and it's just major minor area at that point. I think it's literally just week 1 at that point. Or I don't know.
It's a full rando, so
Yeah, it's going to be a bunch of what. I mean, the Chozo is just so straightforward. Like, I mean, it came this. You could say we did the exact same thing, except I did Shack Tool. Like, that's what Chozo is. It's like the flood fill settings. And light barely changes it, honestly. So the next week is just going to be the complete opposite, where it's just going to be, who knows? Like, I don't even think there's a good way to prepare for it.
Yeah, I enjoy the more random races because I feel like a better shot against most runners, just because depending on what they do, the seed can either give them what they need, or it gives me what I need. If we diverge, and I feel I feel I need that a lot more in order to have a chance than more straightforward seeds. Because again, I'm okay with execution, but there's a lot of players that are much better than me at that. So I am glad Chozo was done with. I never want to see it
until playoffs, right?
No, it doesn't need to show up there either.
Yeah, Chozo having a bit of a meta route going on, but this tournament is bringing us a lot of randomization with the other settings, for sure.
Anyway, thanks for the commentary and the tracking, and thanks for the race, Duck.
Yeah, GG's.
It was a great race. It was a lot of fun to watch and commentate. It's fun being in the booth with you, Aussie. And shout outs to D-Web on tracker as well, helping make sure that we don't miss anything and that y'all watching can follow along nice and easy too. It's appreciated.
Yeah, it's been a great time here with you, Ace. And give my own thanks to the runners, Duck and Shy Guy. And then I do want to point to the schedule, talk about this Derp and Nevdy race at 10:10, which is the no losses matchup. So gonna want to watch that for sure. Going on right now on Speed Gaming 3 is Tony versus Balthazar. Derp and Nevdy is Speed Gaming 1, so this channel. And then at the same time, 10:10 is going to be Pitoil and Becky on Speed Gaming 2. And one more day of week 6 races to close this out. So tune in for tomorrow as well. I've been Aussie. With me has been Ace and D-Web. And thank you everyone for tuning in. And see you next mission.
All right, so I'm very, very surprised at the outcome of this race. Better opponent, my worst logic by far, and I won another race. Yeah, this puts me into the play-in for sure. I'm not just playing for a spot to play in for the playoffs. Next week I'll be playing for a spot to just get right into the playoffs. Never ever thought I would be anywhere in this type of position. But yeah, you know, this tournament has gone really, really well for me. Yeah, this time I think maybe if you were watching, which I really hope you, if you've been listening to me babble on about stuff before and after these, I really hope you've been paying attention and trying to see what mistakes or, you know, things that, you know, the runner might have been thinking of when they did something. And I think this time apathyduck just sort of made a miscalculation on a play, because he went to Shack Tool instead of, you know, going to the boss first. I'm like Ice Beam at Shack Tool because I ended up not going there. Ice Beam at Shack Tool probably somewhat about evens out the time it took to get to Shack Tool, because it saves time in the Metroid rooms. It saves time with the Zeb skip. It saves time on Mother Brain because it's less shots you got to deals more damage, so there's less shots you have to hit Mother Brain with. So it catches up some of that time. Like I believe Ace said during the commentary, it catches up some time there. But I don't know. I think that was a miscalculation. But overall, like, this race, I did pretty alright in it. Was really, really not expecting this to go this well. Like, I was... it's Chozo logic, and I'm just not... I'm not a player that gets any sort of benefit from Chozo logic. There is more to keep track of with Chozo logic. With the different things, you can kind of tell where items might be with a pretty good chance of being correct, or you can just outright know where an item is based on how the actual logic of Chozo works. But that doesn't save, you know, someone like me from having to face somebody who's much better execution-wise in what is normally a very linear logic. So I think the light area, maybe the boss shuffle also maybe helped, you know, just enough for me to get to snipe duck here. But yeah, this might be my best win, just because this logic is not my forte. So yeah, really, really excited. I am now 5-1 in the tournament. Never ever thought I would get to 5 wins, period. I just wanted a chance to get to play for a chance to get to 5 wins, and I've got to 5 wins. So yeah, the next week is week 7. This is where all the participants, either the people who go straight into the playoffs or the participants for the play-in, get decided. With where I'm at, I'm playing for a chance to be in the playoffs, and if I lose, I still get to be in the play-in. So not like honestly, this week I didn't feel that much pressure. Like, my practice didn't go well, but I didn't feel much pressure because, like, I'm already at 4 wins. Like, that's my bottom line is now 4-3, which is, you know, the high end of my goal when this started. And since I've won this one, like, next week I feel even less pressure because I don't expect to be in the playoffs. Even with, you know, the playing game, I don't expect to move on from that. Yeah, I don't know, it's kind of weird. Like, I felt way more pressure earlier on in the tournament than I do here, with these last couple of weeks. So, we'll see what happens. But yeah, GG's to Duck. And again, thanks to, you know, Ace and Aussie, and I think they said D-Web. I apologize, I might be wrong on that, but I think D-Web was tracking. Yeah, thanks to them for, you know, calling the match there. And yeah, we'll see what happens in the final week of the Swiss realms here. So we'll see you for that.